warrants for armed robbery and 1 warrant for felony murder.
Teens may be nasty and callous, making high school a misery for many, especially when it comes to romances and relationships. But nothing can compare to the lengths Francesa Torres, Nicholas Evans, and Khalil Miller went to in October 2018 in Gwinnett County, Georgia.
Have 3 warrants for armed robbery and 1 warrant for felony murder.
The body of one William Tunches was found in the woods with a gunshot and blunt force trauma to the head. But you'd be shocked to find out it all started with a little crush and some online chit-chat. 21 Tunches had been contacting 17-year-old Francesa Torres, trying to light the classic adolescent love spark. When things went wrong, Brunetta agreed to meet him in the forest for some intimacy, but he had to pay $300. Don Chase drove to the middle of nowhere and met Francesca, but Nicholas Evans and Khalil Miller, 2 other teens, surprised him. The 3 adolescents tried to rob him at gunpoint, but when he fought, Miller and Evans violently took his with support from the townspeople and a previous series of armed robberies. 3 teens were arrested for murder, criminal assault, and robbery. I think the accusations are pending with a punishment that played on the gray area of certain rulings. All 3, including Torres, were condemned to life in jail. Torres' courtroom expression said it all. The penalty was unfair because she had no blood on her hands. Torres, wrongfully convicted of murder, was what?
Those are the charges that are pending right now.
Nothing grinds gears more than the wrongful loss of a kid.
Dylan Schumacher.
Especially when Dylan Schumacher's adolescent motherhood was never meant to be simple. But the death of a toddler adds another degree of difficulty. Unfortunately, this is a suffering created by Dylan Schumacher. Everything began in March 2013 in Springville, Utah. Dylan was meant to look after his 16-year-old girlfriend, Ashley Smith's 2 children, but he quickly discovered that he was not up to the task. Austin, his girlfriend's toddler, was wailing non-stop. A sane person would try anything to soothe the child down. Instead, Dylan felt it would be a good idea to muffle Austin with a pillow while beating him 3 times. What on God's earth was going on? His thinking is beyond anyone's comprehension. Dylan was quickly arrested when a toddler died from a hemorrhage on the brain. Dylan was charged with second-degree murder after some back and forth between the defense and the prosecution, and no amount of crying in court would assist him. Dylan was sentenced to life in prison for his murder after pleading not guilty. At least Dylan felt guilt and sadness for what he had done.
I didn't mean to kill Austin. Ashley, I really didn't. I really think I did that. I didn't mean to hurt him.
Dylan Schumacher walked into a state Supreme courtroom pleading his case.
I can't take back what was done. I wish I could. I would give my life for Austin. I loved him a lot.
Austin Smith was completely defenseless. That's a given. But there were other dynamics at work there.
Whereas Shondell Jackson did not. The insanity they instilled, which rendered the entire courthouse insane. It all started in July 2009 in River West, Milwaukee, when a 19-year-old named Shondell, together with Jackson and another mugger, planned to rob an unassuming Nathan Potter on his way to his apartment. Jackson was equipped with a gun and became enraged when he learned Potter had no money to give him.
Judge, there's nothing that can be said to bring back our Nathan. But your sentence can ensure that Shondell does not have the opportunity as a free man to inflict pain like this again. Is there such thing as pure evil? We think so.
At his sentencing today, 19-year-old Shondell Jackson was facing a mandatory life term for pulling the trigger, but hoped for a chance at parole, a hope dashed by Judge Rebecca Dallett, who gave him life without parole.
He mercilessly terminated him as if he were merely a means to an aim. In less than a month, justice was served, and Jackson was caught and charged with first-degree manslaughter. Johnson and 4 others turned late in Harris County, Texas, in June 2006.
Dexter Johnson.
Dexter and his crew carjacked Maria's appearance and White Nago's car and took them on a joyride that turned into a horror show. Dexter sexually abused Maria in the backseat, making matters worse for the marriage and himself. Dexter was found guilty of both charges and given the death penalty, even though he was only 18. Hearing the death penalty sent someone in the back of the courtroom into a frenzy, and Dexter lashed out, causing the entire court to lose control.
In accordance with the laws of the state of Texas, this court hereby sentences your punishment of death. It is therefore the order of this court that you, Dexter Darnell Johnson, be delivered by the Sheriff of Harris County, Texas, to the Director of the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, or any other person legally authorized to receive such convicts, where you shall be confined pending receipt by this court of a mandate from the Court of Criminal Appeals in Austin, Texas, and further orders of this court. You are remanded to the
20 years later, intellectual disability investigations prevented Johnson's execution. Courts decide if he deserves the chair. Jennifer Mee
Sound echoes through the TIA terminal, announcing the arrival of 15-year-old Jennifer Mee.
I get really bad chest pain, abdominal pains, throat pains, back pains. It's unbelievable.
Like child stars, social media sensations can take dark and terrible paths. As an example, suppose a sound resonates through the TIA terminal announcing the arrival of a 15-year-old, Jennifer Mee, stomach discomfort.
Sound echoes through the TIA terminal, announcing the arrival of 15-year-old Jennifer Mee.
I get really bad chest pain, abdominal pains, throat pains, back pains. It's unbelievable.
Jennifer rose to fame in 2007 at the age of 15 for her distinctive uncontrollable hiccups, earning her the moniker Hiccup Girl. But what began as a silly, innocent term given by the press may have turned out to be a stunning villain, Monica. After being cured, Jennifer agreed to meet up with Shannon Griffin at an abandoned house to sell him marijuana, and he was robbed at gunpoint by Jennifer and 2 other accomplices. Griffin, on the other hand, was tragically shot and slain. Jennifer did not pull the trigger, but she was charged with first-degree murder along with the other 2 following multiple arguments.
The jury having found you guilty of murder in the first degree, Miss Mee, I will adjudicate you guilty and sentence you to life in prison without parole.